pass goes Stabler. Looking. He runs. He's at the 15. He's thrown. It is a touchdown Raiders. Touchdown Raiders. When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Get fired up. I ain't playing. I'm telling you, get fired up. Stand up. Get out of that chair, moron. It's time for the Dagos. That's right, Murph and Sonny from the Dago Dungeon. You got it right here, live. Welcome in to another episode of Raiders Riportare. I am your host, Sonny, calling in from the Dago Dungeon Northwest to be exact, up here in the sunshiny state of Oregon, only for one more day, and then the rain's going to come till basically end of Sunday. But this is a happy show this week because the Raiders are 4-1. And no, I'm not dyslexic. I said that correctly. The Raiders are 4-1.
Sign. Lemonade.
And in studio with me, as always, playing sounds underneath my beautiful voice, is my cousin, but he's kind of like a friend and sometimes a brother, especially when he, puts the fan on the fridge and pissed in the middle of the night. Josh Murph, how's it going there, buddy?
It's going fantastic, Sonny. Glad to be back here. I was on the road last week. We did the mobile studio version of the Dago Dungeon last week as I was on East Coast time, just like our Oakland Raiders were when they beat the Baltimore Ravens. But now I'm back in the palatial Dago Dungeon Studios South. Glad to be home. None of my sound effects have been working all night long until I just opened up that website, and then all of a sudden it started playing stuff. So, sorry about that. But I digress. Let's talk about the Raiders, or do we want to talk about the Giants beat up on the Cubs 5-2 in the bottom of the sixth, and hopefully the Giants can take care of the Cubbies and they can move on to Game 5.
No.
Game 5.
No, look it.
What?
I'm not a Giants fan, and quite frankly, if you're a Raiders fan, you should be an A's fan. I am an A's fan. I don't get it, and I don't like the fact that you share baseball teams. I'm a long hater of the Giants.
No.
The Giants have stolen the Bay Area from the A's when the A's gave it to them, and the Giants are being dickheads and saying, no, you can't have the rights back. Screw the freaking Giants. Go Cubs all the way.
Oh, that's terrible. That's just terrible.
No, it's not. That's being a fan. How can you literally support the freaking Giants if you're an A's fan? If you're truly an A's fan first, you should hate the Giants.
No, that's that. Oh, okay, mister. We need to be united in the fan base. Let's not be so divisive. I completely disagree. Disagree.
About the Giants? The Giants are an Oakland team. They're San Francisco. That's like rooting for the Niners and the Raiders.
They play in a different league, and when we grew up, they never even played each other unless it was an exhibition game. That was before freaking interleague play was even a thing. They never even played each other. The only time they played each other was in the World Series. It was very easy to root for the Giants and root for the A's. And by the way, when it came down to it, of course I'm going to root for the A's, and of course they're my favorite team. But no, they're my second favorite team. Yes, I can't stand the fact of what they did to the A's. But you know what? Listen, let's not pretend like the A's have it. Listen, I agree, and absolutely early on, it certainly was the Giants' fault with the whole, claiming the fan base and all that. But let's not pretend like the A's have done themselves any favors going forward. Let's not pretend like they don't have one of the cheapest ass ownership groups. Let's not paint a pretty picture.
I'm just saying, how can you truly be a Giants fan if you're an A's fan? But anyway, Murph, this is a football podcast, and in case you don't know, the Raiders are 4-1, and we just beat the Chargers.
You don't live there anyways. You're not allowed to have an opinion about it.
That's true. First things first. Let me cough. My name is Sonny. Your name is Murph.
Hey.
We are the Dagos.
We are.
We get kind of antsy. We're Italian. We get kind of loud. But this isn't a morning show. We want to jump right into it. But real quick, Raiders Riportare is the name of the show. You can find it on Libsyn.com as well as iTunes. If you also search for The Dagos, Degos, you'll find us again on Libsyn and on iTunes. Also on Twitter. Thanks for all the new Twitter followers. We're getting a lot of Twitter followers lately. Appreciate that. Love the interaction. Love the interactions on game days as well. And I'm also on Reddit posting a lot, so I appreciate all the interaction on Reddit. Josh, the Raiders played a football game on Sunday against, the Bolts. What'd you think?
I thought a lot. Well, we talked about going into it that it was a game that they should win. If this truly is a playoff contender, I think you're probably going to start coming around to it soon. If they are the team that we think they are, and they are a playoff-worthy team, they should beat a team like the Chargers, who not only do they have more talent than the Chargers, but the Chargers are down. They have a lot of injuries. They have an aging quarterback. They have a questionable coaching staff at this point. There are reasons, a long list of reasons, why the Raiders should win that game. So, thankfully, the Raiders did win that game. Going into the game, I called, if I remember right, I said my predicted score was going to be 34-10. I thought the Raiders were going to get their first blowout win of the year. Once again, the Raiders kind of lacked or showed the inability to really put a team away, kind of let a team hang around and let them make a game out of it late. And obviously, thankfully, the game ended the way that it did, and the Raiders came out victorious. And so thankful for it. W's are W's. First home win of the year. Phillip Rivers is a sourpuss. Everything is as it should be. But it was a little bit closer than I think we're wanting to see. Still waiting for that big knockout punch. Hopefully, maybe we get it against Kansas City this week.
34-31 was the score of the game. I tweeted out right before the start of the game. Closest score prediction gets a shout out on the show. The closest score prediction, I think, was 38-17. There was a couple others, but 38-17 seems to be the closest score. That was sent in by Jason at Just Win Baby 11. His statement says, "Once a Raider, always a Raider," from Toronto, Canada. It freaking took a Northern, Josh, to get the score right. What the heck's up with that? What the heck's up with that? Here's my basis for the entire show.
Okay.
The Raiders are 4-1. That's it.
That's it.
I don't care how they got there. I don't care what their stats look like. I don't care about what our eyes tell us during the game. I don't care about all the fans on Twitter saying they can't put a team away. They haven't had that signature win yet. Shut the up. We're 4-1. And this show, I'm not going to give it away yet because I'm going to surprise you with it too. But my goal is at the end of this show, we're going to walk away more jazzed about the Raiders being 4-1 than we have been up to this point in 2 days since they've been 4-1. Anyway.
Wow. Way to sell it. All right.
The single greatest thing to come from this game is that picture of Phillip Rivers on the sideline where it looks like he's taking a freaking crap in the woods, right? I mean, that's just a thing of beauty. Whoever got that, right? But let's quickly go over stats. Rivers was 21 for 30, 359, average of 12 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. He picked apart our secondary all game. Didn't you think so?
Yes. I don't know if I'd call it picked apart. Certainly, I don't know if that's fair. I thought that we certainly could have played better, especially
his quarterback rating was 122.1.
Yeah, I know you love
picking apart a defense.
You love that stick of quarterback rating, man. I don't agree. I don't agree. I think Phillip is the king of bailing out on plays. None more evident than when he threw his punt against that Carl Joseph picked off deep in the end zone. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it picked apart or not. Did he have a good day? Yeah, he had a Phillip Rivers kind of a game, I thought. This is what you get when you get Phillip. You know what I mean? He's gonna hit those passes. He's gonna have Antonio Gates, obviously. And thankfully Keenan Allen wasn't in the game because I think that he really could have taken advantage of us there. But I don't know. That could have been dangerous. But I thought we kept him in check for the most part. I wouldn't call it picked apart.
359 yards. That's not keeping somebody in check. Derek Carr, 25 of 40, 317, average of 7.9 yards per pass completed, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 sacks. They got a lot of pressure on Carr. I wasn't expecting. I mean, based upon the first 4 games, we don't see a lot of pressure on Carr. We don't see him get hit. We don't see him take sacks. And for the first half, I thought he got kind of rattled. He came back a little bit in the second half. He still wasn't what we've seen so far this year, but they got to him. And the guy that was getting to him that I thought we were all kind of making fun of before the game was that Joey Bosa guy, dude. I think that guy's going to be a stud in the league for years to come. What'd you think of him?
Oh, I thought he played very, very well. Yeah, I mean, no doubt, and surprisingly well, I think, considering the amount of time that he's missed and everything else with the holdout. I guess I guess technically it was a holdout, wasn't it? I mean, it was funny because we thought that those kinds of holdouts were a thing of the past with the new contracts, the way that they work now for rookies, especially in the first round. But yeah, with this whole offset language is what they call it, as far as who's responsible, should you get cut, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, to me, the Chargers are just another. Speaking of cheap ownership, my gosh, if you pick the guy that high, doesn't it? Okay, I won't get too far.
Pay the man.
Pay him. Like the whole point of the offset language is who's responsible for the money should he get cut before the contract runs out. Something to that effect. Well, if you think that he's not going to pan out, then what the F did you draft him for? Number 2 overall or 3 overall, wherever he was. Like, to me, it's more of a show of good faith in the player more than anything. And even that, it's not like we're talking quarterback money. We're not talking about Jamarcus Russell type dollars here. Like, just pay the guy, get him out there. I think that's so stupid. But anyway, to go back to your question, yes, I thought he played well. Obviously, he did. Is he going to be a force to come in the future? I don't know. He certainly shows the potential to. And then, it was Carr. Was there some chinks in the armor in the offensive line this week? Absolutely. And thankfully, we got a quarterback that knows how to get out of get out of danger and move around a little bit. And so I thought that definitely helped him out all day long. And the other thing too is that they forced him to make some mistakes, which we hadn't really seen a lot of out of Carr. Gosh, there was a couple throws where I'm just like, what are you doing? And that was, this was the first time that there's a couple things that they did. One is that you could see that he was trying to get the quick snap done a little more often, which we kind of did with varying levels of success as far as getting the snap off. I mean, how many times did we see him back there going,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He was trying, because he was noticing something in the defense and trying to get the ball out quick. And so, like I said, sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But the thing about him is that I thought it really kind of forced him into making those bad calls, which we hadn't seen, and it was all from the pressure. I think they kind of had him rattled a little bit. Not bad.
They got to him. The chink of the armor showed. Yeah, they chinked his armor a little.
Yeah.
Because remember before that, it was all the praise, all the glory. Derek Carr, unflappable, hasn't been hit, only threw 1 pick, blah 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 blah. They rattled him, man. They got to him.
Well,
but
he wasn't getting rid of the ball. And he wasn't getting rid. That was the other thing too that I noticed is that not normally, but so far this year we've seen Carr get rid of the football when he's under duress. That one play especially. What was he doing? Like the one where I forget who it was.
Oh, where he held it, got sacked, and I remember.
And he was like, he had like his back to the lineman, and he was like kind of walking forward, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, roll out of there and throw the ball. Like, get rid of the darn thing. You're plenty outside the pocket. So there was just things like that. You could just tell they kind of got to him, and hey, look, it happens. I mean, so if that's the kind of performance and the response we can expect from him the first time that he sees any kind of pressure on a regular basis, I think we're in pretty good shape, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, he fought through. My fear is when we face the Broncos, whose defense is a little better than the Chargers, how we're going to be then. But I think not having Murray really showed me how valuable Murray is. The first 4 games, you watch Washington, you watch Richard, whatever his name is, Richard. Every announcer says it differently. You watch those 2 guys alongside with Murray, and you're like, man, those guys are exciting. I want to see more of them. But then you take Murray out, and it didn't seem like our running game was very effective. We ran it here and there. The total day, we only had 25 carries, average of 3.6 yards per carry, which, 3 yards in a cloud of dust gets you first downs every time. But the longest rush was 17 yards, and that was by a Wale. That wasn't even by Washington Shard stuff, So I think not having Murray really kind of hurt the running game and the threat of the running game and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see moving forward if the line problems continue or if that was more of just the Chargers defense versus us and, not having Murray there, stuff like that. Anyway, was this Cooper's breakout game? Was this the Cooper we've all been waiting to see?
It certainly was on that one long pass play. I forget, what was it, 64 yards or something like that?
64 yards, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty legit. So I mean that was definitely a breakout play. That was the first time that we saw him flash what he did at times last year, and of course what he did at Alabama. So yeah, I don't know if I call it a breakout game because we're not talking 300 yards. It wasn't like an Antonio Brown type day or a old Calvin Johnson type day. But yeah,
but it was.
What was his final stats? I don't even know what they were, but watching
6 for 138 and a touch.
That's a nice day. I think that's a nice day. I think that when you're talking about somebody that's, has the potential here in relatively short amount of time to be one of the most elite receivers in the league, is that, an expected type performance? Yeah. Was that a breakout game? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, let me rephrase that. Not breakout game, but maybe his first game. It seemed like this was the first game where we actually utilized him to his ability. He was running routes. There's a video on Twitter where he just destroys this guy in a route, and it's the one where he just did like a little hook, but when he went up, faked the guy out to the right, the guy just totally bit, and he just curls around, catches the first down right there. But I think it was the first game, at least this year, where maybe Crabtree wasn't the center of attention, or maybe Crabtree just wasn't stepping up. Because remember the first half, we were like, man, what's up with Carr and Crabtree?
Yeah, the drops, man. And
did they not hang out?
Hit him in the face with the football, man.
Jeez.
What's up with that?
Yeah, sorry, Crabtree. I should put it in your numbers instead of your hands, But, they're going to have their days, right? They're not perfect. But I thought it was really, really key that, and this is the benefit of having so many receivers, Crabtree was down, and then Cooper stepped up. I thought that was beautiful. Yeah. That's what should happen on a good team,
Yeah, no doubt. And then you look at the fourth down play to Crabtree. I mean, here we're thinking that he's going to have a bad day, and then all of a sudden, Carr checks out of a play on a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, whatever, and hits him, deep in the end zone. That was amazing. But I think that's more of the takeaway. What you just said is more of it for me watching that game, was that it wasn't so much that he put up this amazing day. It was going into what we thought after the Baltimore game, that Crabtree's now going to start demanding more attention from defenses, and that's going to allow Cooper to have more opportunities. Yep. And I think that's exactly what we saw. And I would suspect that people aren't going to forget that Coop's Coop. People may now remember that Crabtree's Crabtree. So I think we're going to see more of this balanced type. Are we going to see somebody have a breakout game throughout the course of the year, or a big game anyways, a big day where they put up 200 plus and 2 touchdowns? I don't know. We might. They certainly have the talent to do that. Sure. But I think with like you said, by being deep in the receiving core, especially with those two guys, I think we're going to see a lot more 6, 7, 8, 9 receptions for 100 plus 1 or 2 touchdowns. That's going to be kind of and you know what? And if they're both doing that, guess what? We're going to win a whole ton of games.
Ooh, yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right. Quick thing on the defense. Perry Riley, they had just signed him last week. He was the leading tackler at 7 tackles. Does that worry you that the guy we just picked up was the leading tackler? I mean, he's playing linebacker because, of course, you're going to get naturally more tackles that way and stuff, But should other guys have stepped up? Was it just, a fluke game? Nelson had 6 tackles. Carl Joseph had 6 tackles. Corey James, who was kind of tearing it up ever since he got the start, he only had 2 tackles on the day. Or is that a good thing? Is that a good thing that Perry Riley jumps in and makes an impact right away?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a hard question, and I think that's probably where your, people inside the organization, and that's where the coaching staffs are really the ones that are better equipped. Or obviously they're better equipped, but I mean that you can get a more accurate answer, a more factual answer than from somebody like us who just watches the games, because we don't know. We don't know what the gameplay was on defense. The answer, is, do you want your middle linebacker making those tackles? Yeah, that's a heck of a lot better than our strong safety making those tackles. Sure. Because we're keeping the first or at least the second level of the defense. So, yes, that is encouraging. Now, but why he was in on all that, I don't know. Is that being a nose for the football? Is he pissed off because he got cut from Washington and now he's trying to, make a name for himself again? I don't know. At the end of the day, though, the guy was very, very active, and I think that one of the things that we were missing was that kind of on that, and those interior linebackers was that kind of that presence. They looked for that veteran presence. They looked for it with Curtis Lofton a few years ago, remember? And and then last, C.O. Moore flamed out obviously pretty quick. And then drafting Heaney. I think Heaney was not anybody they drafted with the intention of being a starter in year 2. I think he was more of a depth guy, a fill-in guy. And then he got hurt, so it forced their hand. If I think the good news out of this, regardless of why and how, whatever, all that, I think we as fans, here's the takeaway. We were very much compromised at one of the most significant positions on the field.
Yes.
Your general manager went out and got a guy that could play in a week's time and play effectively. Was he always in the right spot? Did he make a couple of battery? Yeah, he did, and that's to be expected. But he just went out and grabbed this dude, just like he went out and grabbed Emerson last year off the same team when the Washington cut him. They thought that he was a chump and was going to flame out for the rest of his career. And look what happened to Emerson. He's our best cornerback. Now look what's happened to Perry Riley. Is he going to follow that same trajectory? I don't know. But I think the kudos are to Reggie, and I'm forgetting the guy. I mean, otherwise, what's our alternative?
It's true.
I mean, who's the third inside linebacker for us? I don't even know.
Brendan Twarwick?
There you go. So the fact that they went out and got Perry Riley Jr.
He's a safety. I couldn't tell you.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know either. I promise you this, though. We should be looking for one when it comes to draft day next year. That's definitely one of the, if anything, if there's a glaring weakness on this team, I think that it's inside linebacker.
It's who I drafted in Madden. If we can base anything off Madden. Khalil Mack, 3 tackles, 2 solo, 2 tackles for loss, and 15 holdings against him. Are we as Raiders fans?
Oh my gosh, dude, he got mugged.
Are we blowing this out of proportion because our guy's not getting in? Is he being held? But are we taking it up a notch? I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think it's all based on truth. I heard some guys say the other day that he's held 99% of the time. Like, I don't know if it's that much, but there's a couple blatant calls that people are posting online that it's bad. There was one that, in fact, that deep touchdown Rivers threw over the middle. Mack is held like crazy. He's held so bad he's spun around. He's held. I mean, it was ridiculous. So is the fix in on Mack, I guess is the question?
Oh, I don't know if the fix is in, but I certainly don't think that he's getting the calls. And what's that a result of? I don't know. Was that just a bad day? Was that bad fishing? I hadn't noticed it. And if others have, I'm sure we'll know about it and hear about it. But I hadn't really noticed it watching this year. I didn't feel like he was getting, mugged like that, like he did last. Does he on plays here or there? I don't know. I've never watched the cut up of every single play that Khalil Mack has ran all through, the first 4 games of the season. So, I mean, I'm sure there are times where he's getting held like that. This was the first time that this season watching the game, it was overt. It was like, oh my gosh, he just got held. Oh my gosh, he just got held. Oh my gosh, he just got held. And where you could see, because the Chargers wear them bright ass gloves and so you could see. It's like you could see where he's getting grabbed from behind and arms wrapped around him and everything else. And I'm like, man, this guy's just getting mugged over here today. Now the disappointing part of that is that we still weren't getting a lot of pressure. Like, we still weren't getting a lot of, you know what I mean? And so, if you're going to get a guy that's going to be treated like that, and listen, he was going up against King Dunlap, too. That's the other thing, that the Chargers just got him back off of the IR injury.
Yeah, that guy's no slouch.
He's like 6'9", 800 pounds. He's a monster. He's like the biggest left tackle on the planet. You know what I mean? Like,
he is appropriately named.
He is appropriately named, man, no doubt. And so, I mean, it's not like he was going up against a chump. So that's the other thing is that. But now, where was Bruce Irvin? Where was Autry? Yeah. Who had a great game last week? Where were those guys? Where was Calhoun and where was Ward? Where we got? Ward, Mac's going to get attention. That's something that happened. That's the reason that the Texans draft Jadeveon Clowney when they already have J.J. Watt, because you're going to get one guy that's going to get a ton of attention, so you draft another guy to go on the other side, so hopefully he can get freed up to rush the passer. So, again, I said this last week. I'm almost done. I said this last week, and I mean it. Mario Edwards is now expected to come back in week 9, and then in week 8, Alden comes off suspension. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. I don't know if he's going to have the ability to come back or not. But Mario Edwards is going to be huge. That's the guy that we're going to see get freed up and hopefully start making some noise back there if Mac is getting all this attention.
Do you think, obviously, the defense is still gelling? It's like they're in year 6 of their marriage, and if they get past year 7, they'll be great. You know that old saying, 7-year itch. It's like the Raiders' defense is on year 5 or 6. They're almost there. Show up a couple deep balls. They're there. Do you think when Alden Smith comes back and Edwards comes back, obviously they're impact players. Alden, when he's, it was mind right. So we're going to have questions about, are they work ethic wise, game, condition wise, Edwards and the injury. Is he fully? Is he going to be? What's his mental state going to be? All that kind of yada yada yada. But also with the chemistry of the team, those two guys coming back, is that going to ruin the chemistry of the defense, or is that going to help maybe the chemistry of the defense and make it better?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like those guys haven't played with this group before. Now, obviously, there's some new players.
Well,
I mentioned Ward and Calhoun, and their new draft picks. I mentioned Bruce Irvin. I get it. Those are new guys to the team. But Dan Williams is not. Danico Autry is not. Khalil Mack is not. Malcolm Smith, although he's outside linebacker, he's not. I mean, so this. I don't think it's enough to. Listen, it's not like you got this. Finely tuned machine that's working right now that it's like, oh man, we don't want to upset that momentum we got going. They have at times momentum, but I don't think it's enough to where you're going to worry about people when you got talented players coming back to play. No, I think that can only be a good thing.
All right, changing gears. Go ahead.
Well, one of the other notes that I had here was that who was it that forced that fumble on the defense? And you know what it reminded me a lot of? And it reminded me a lot of Charles Woodson. And I still think
he punched it?
Yes. And defensively, don't you still feel like we still see the influence of Charles Woodson on this defense? I still feel like he's there. I love watching him on Monday Night Football as an analyst, man. I love him just like I love watching Gruden.
I don't love it as much as him on my team.
That's the truth. But I feel like he's still there. I still feel like his presence is there. Maybe that's just me as a fan missing him. But when I see stuff like that, it's like, right on. There's like that little bit of extra. Of course, you're excited because they forced the fumble, but then you're also thinking yeah, that was a Charles Woodson move. That was pretty sweet.
Just a straight punch, huh?
Yeah, man.
That was good.
Love it.
I don't remember who it was.
I don't remember. I mean, you see a lot of them doing it, and you see a lot around the NFL. I mean, that wasn't like Charles Woodson didn't invent that, but just something about stylistically the way that he did it, that's what I see the Raiders doing. Like, I see them following that. Like they go for the tackle first, and then they go to get the ball. Like, it's just something about it. It's just it's great to watch.
Yep. All right. What's the record of the Raiders right now?
4-1.
We're about to embark on a trip through time. This is in response to people. They're fans. We love them. We love all of our fans. This isn't so much to fans as it is to a mindset of, well, we're 4-1, but shut the butt up. We're 4-1. And to help people remember how important this is to us being 4-1, let's travel back, Murph, to 2003. Raiders finished 4-12. Do you know who the coach of the Raiders was that year, Murph?
Bill Callahan.
Bill Callahan. Do you know how many
points
we got to be
the dumbest team in America?
270 points. 26th overall in the league. This is the year after we went to the Super Bowl. Rich Gannon. Do you know who the running back was?
Charlie Garner.
And Tyrone Wheatley. 4-12. Not a very good year. 2004. You know what the record was?
Is that the year we went 2-14?
5-11.
Oh, no. Never mind.
Norv Turner. Remember that one? Norv Turner.
Oh, is that the year we went and saw him in Atlanta?
This is 2004.
I've seen him twice in Atlanta. Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I didn't go with you that time. You may have gone that time. I didn't go that time.
Yeah.
This is a bad defense. 31st of 32nd points against. Right? Jimmy Ray, offensive coordinator. Who the hell is that? Rob Ryan, defensive coordinator.
I remember that. I remember that. We actually had a decent defense that following year.
You know the leading quarterback was that year?
Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Kerry Collins.
Oh, Kerry Collins. There we go. Okay.
Kerry Collins. You know who the leading rusher was that year for the Raiders? This is where it gets fun. This is where it gets real fun.
In 2005?
2004.
Oh, 2004. That's before Bush and McFadden, right? So
correct.
And that's after Garner and Wheatley.
Wheatley was still there. He was 32.
Okay. Who was the feature back?
Amos.
Oh, Amos Zeraway. Yeah.
Zeraway. He was now
out of West Virginia. He's from West Virginia.
Listen. Yeah. His this is so pathetic. We're 4-1. Shut up. Okay. Amos, whatever his name is, I can't even say his name.
Amos Zeraway.
He led the Raiders in rushing with 425 yards on the year. The Raiders as a team rushed for 1,295 yards.
Gosh, bless it. That's terrible.
Moving forward. Oh, it gets better.
Okay.
2005.
Okay.
4-12. Norv Turner.
Yep.
Once again.
Yep.
Kerry Collins.
Yep. Randall Moss.
Lamont Jordan,
yep.
Leading rusher that year.
Yep.
He actually had 1,000 yards.
He sure did.
That was a little decent, right? Little bit better than that. A little bit better. 2006.
Was that Moss? When did we get Moss?
2006. Just calm your Moss.
All right. I liked the trivia going in because it's challenging.
2006.
Some dark years I've forgotten a lot about. Okay.
Really dark years. 2-14.
That's the 2-14. Okay, is that Aaron Brooks? No, that's Collins. Collins.
Aaron Brooks
right?
was there, but also Andrew Walter. Remember Andrew Walter?
Oh my gosh, yes, Andrew Walter. Ugh.
The savior. He is going to save us.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to save us. This was also the first year, or actually the second term of
Art Shell.
Came back.
And Tom Walsh with his bed and breakfast offense. Remember that? The guy literally left out of a bed and breakfast to walk onto the football field and rekindle an offense.
The offense that was 32nd of 32nd for points scored.
That good, huh?
What's our record this year? 4-1.
4-1.
One of the leading offenses in the league. We're 4-1, people. Okay, moving forward. 2007. Oh, this was a great year. This was a beautiful year. This was 4-12. So we're moving forward. Quarterback, Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Josh McCown and an aging Dante Culpepper.
Yes, I remember that. Very, very yes, I remember that very well with him, especially his return to Miami when he famously sauntered into the end zone and pointed at his knee that had been reconstructed because he proved everybody in Miami that he could still play. Unfortunately, that was the only game that he was any good in.
Because he was 2-4 and not very good in any other game. That was also Jamarcus Russell's.
I was just going to say that was his rookie year, yeah.
Into the league. Justin Fargas. I always liked Justin Fargas. Did you? He ran tough. He epitomized the Raider. I think he was just there at the wrong time.
I think so too. I met him on an airplane. I met him on a Southwest flight one time. It was after he got cut by the Raiders, and he was traveling from Atlanta to Nashville because he had just had a workout with the Falcons, and he was going to have a workout with the Titans. And I met him on an airplane, and took a selfie on the way off on the or not the tarmac, but the airport runway there after deboarding the plane.
Nice.
I got a quick pic with Justin Farkas.
This is 2007, so that's almost like pre-selfie era. Way to go, trendsetter.
Yeah, man. I'll have to post that. I'll throw that one up on Twitter. That'll be a fun one.
You remember the coach in 2007? He's one of Tennessee's all-time favorite coaches.
That would be Lane Kiffin, or Lame Kitten, as they refer to him around here.
Lane Kiffin. Oh, how many shows can we do on the Lane Kiffin era?
Yeah, you know what, Sonny? We are 4-1, not 4-12.
We're 4-1. We're 4-1. Moving forward, 2008. There's life in the Raiders. They went 5-11 this year. Oh, 5-11. Beautiful.
Is that the one where we fired Lame Kitten in the middle of the year and promoted Tom Cable after he punched somebody or something? That was that year, right?
Lane Kiffin went 1-3, and then our very handsome and TV photogenic owner Al Davis makes that video.
It has brings out the overhead projector, yeah. And he can't. Oh my God.
We're 4-1. This is our recent history. We're 4-1. Shut up. Oh my gosh, do you remember that? The letter. Remember how he read the letter?
Yeah.
I remember watching that. Oh, this is my team? This is the team I root for? It's almost how I feel watching the presidential election. This is my country? This is the people who want to run my country? I remember watching Al Davis going, dial Ray.
Yeah, I know.
Unreal, right?
He was a mess. That was and the funniest part was I remember when they were introducing Tom Cable, like after he fires Kiffin, and they're announcing Tom Cable as the coach, and at one point Al leans off over the table, and he's like, "What's his name?" And they go, "Tom Cable," and he goes, "The Raiders would like to welcome Tom Cable." And I remember thinking he didn't even know the guy's name. He just picked some random ass coach. Like, "Hey, you want this?" "Yes." "Okay, here, it's yours." Oh my gosh, those are some dark years. Son.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. We're 4-1. We're 4-1. Moving forward, 2009, under Tom Cable's leadership, Raiders liked 5 wins so much they did it again in 2009, 5-11.
Was that? Wait, let me get. 2009 was that D'Angelo Hall and Javon Walker and all that stuff.
31st of 32 when it comes to defense. Jamarcus Russell started 12 games. Right. This is the Kirk Morrison, Tyvon Branch, Chris Johnson, Michael Huff, Seymour. I
love that defense, man. That was a good defense. Those were some good players on that defense.
Was it this team? I think it was 2010 when that defense was just beast on Madden. You could do a dime coverage every time and just destroy people.
Yeah, like Thomas Howard and along with Morrison and all that. Yeah. And that was Sapp. And Sapp was there, right? We had Sapp up front. Yeah. Sapp and what's his name? Tommy Kelly, man.
Tommy Kelly was there. I don't think this was Sapp's year. When did Sapp play there? I'll have to look at a different screen later. No, Sapp wasn't the year that year. I think it might be the next year. 2010. We're in 2009 right now. Johnny Lee Higgins.
I love Johnny Lee Higgins. So Johnny Lee Higgins, he was great until Eric Weddle practically killed him and ended his career. Johnny Lee Higgins was awesome. He was a great returner, a great slot receiver, real quick, all that. And then, like I said, Weddle took him out. But speaking of Madden, and I will turn this into a Madden show, but I used to destroy my brother with that team because of the running game, and then also with guys like Johnny Lee Higgins. And I think Ronald Curry was still there. I think Walker was there. Anyways, but Johnny Lee used to just shred him. And so that was before you could do all the custom Madden covers. I went and photoshopped my own custom Madden cover with Johnny Lee Higgins, and I put it and I tucked it into the cover of the game. And at Midnight Madness, when I went to pick up the game and I came back for my brother and I to play, I handed it to him and he looked on the cover, and so it was Johnny Lee Higgins of all people on there. And yes, he was a stud, man. Johnny Lee Higgins ruled. You there? What the heck was your thing cutting out?
I keep muting my mic because I'm coughing. Anyway, 31st of 32nd in defense. We averaged a whopping, no Italian jokes intended. We averaged a whopping 12.3 points per game. 2010. Oh.
Here comes Sap to save the day, right?
Oh. Here comes Jason Campbell to save the day. Remember Jason Campbell?
Well, yeah, I remember Jason Campbell. We saw him live.
Campbell.
We had
hope.
We had hope, man.
I mean, look at that. We just went from 2003 all the way to 2010. The most we ever had was 5 wins. And then all of a sudden we get 8 wins. We're like, whoa, we're third in the AFC West.
Dude,
Tom Campbell's the man.
Sapp was there from 04 to 07, so he was gone at this point. That's what it was.
Yeah, he was gone. This was Branch, Huff, Rolando McClain.
Yep.
Route, Shaughnessy, Kelly, Seymour, Houston,
That's
Quentin
right.
Grove.
Yep.
Asamoah, Chris Johnson. Anyway, talk about a beast running game, though, right? McFadden, Bush.
Bush, dude.
And then Reese right there, too.
That's exactly right. That's when he started coming up, when Marcel started coming. And you know what? I think, obviously I understand why McFadden got all the attention that he did as far as, trying to push him into being the starter. Of course, you remember he was hurt all the time back then. But, man, Michael Bush, dude, that was one of those players that I think under different circumstances would have been – I'm not saying the guy would have been in the Hall of Fame, but I think he would have been a much more significant running back in the NFL than what his career ended up with him being, with his time in Oakland split and then going on to Chicago. And by the time he got to Chicago, he was kind of a done deal. And then there was Matt Forte, right? So he didn't really get the opportunities. And then all of a sudden his career was over. But I think Mike Bush, man, he was great. He was a great player. Great player.
Do you remember the best part about the 2010 season? There was one game that was beautiful. I remember watching it.
59-10 or whatever in Denver.
59-14. Yep. 59-14.
In Denver.
Went to my boss's house to watch it. That was a beautiful thing of beauty. 2011. Hugh Jack City takes over.
That was the year, man. That was the year we were going to do something.
Takes him to 8-8.
And what we were 6-2, I think, at one point when Jason Campbell got hurt, and then that was the whole Carson Palmer trade and all that. When Hugh kind of overstepped his bounds when Al died, right?
That set us back. That set us back, I think, 2-3 years. That was pretty bad. And that was pretty bad. That was the year we first started. That was the year we made the pact, right, to start going to games every year. Because we went there with my dad, and then he passed away the next year. So that was the Jet game we went to on the 25th. Yeah, we won 34-24. So yeah, Campbell, Kyle Bowler was on the depth chart. Brought in Carson. Carson was 4-5, and Campbell was 4-2. Gosh, that was rough. Michael Bush, leading rusher of the year. Darren McFadden only played 7 games. And again, just nothing. Defense, 29th of 32. Awful. 2012, we kick Hugh Jack City to the curb, bring in Dennis Allen.
Ugh, that was the only guy that's as bad as Lane Kiffin.
Dennis Allen to me was like this preppy trying to run a football team. It was like, what? This guy's not a Raider. What the frick?
He's not a Raider. He was a dork, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't like Dennis Allen at all.
26th offense, 28th defense. I don't even know how we won 4 games that year, man. That was freaking pathetic, dude.
What, did we play Cleveland twice?
yeah, right. Carson was there, 22 touchdowns. Then Matt Leinart, remember? And then Pryor was there. All the debate about Pryor should start. McFadden, Reese, Mike Goodson was running back.
Hey, we saw him, though. We saw him beat San Diego on Sunday Night Football in the Open Coliseum. That was pretty legit.
This was the Atlanta year, bro.
Oh, so that was the year after with Pryor. Okay.
This was the year. Remember, this was the year we watched them freaking win and then play that stupid soft shell defense, then lose in the final quarter.
That was the one where because
the pick six.
The pick six on Sante Samuel took one to the house, to win the game. That's right.
Let's forget about that year. 2013, 4-12. You noticing a trend? I wonder if any other span in history has produced more 4-12 seasons than any. Wait, what's our record? 4-1. We've already won more games this year than so many others. Oh my! It's just to hear people complain this year is ridiculous. Dennis Allen again, 4-12, 24th in offense, 29th in defense.
Bye, Dennis.
Terrell Pryor.
That's when we were trying to claw back. That's when it was like when everybody was all over McKenzie. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. And the guy was given a skeleton of a team with no money, no draft picks. It was like what did you expect? The fact that the fact that that team even won 4 games, especially with that moron of a head coach. My gosh.
I'm telling you. 4-12, Dennis Allen, awful offense, awful defense. 2014, this is perhaps record, not so, but this is perhaps the worst of the bunch. 3-13. 3-13, 31st offense, 32nd defense. Dennis Allen, Tony Sperano. Remember that?
Yeah, that's when Dennis got fired and Tony started burying footballs along with his coaching career.
What the heck was up with that?
Jeez, give me a break. Enough with the symbolism. These are professional athletes.
This was also Derek Carr's first year.
They went 10 straight. We waited 10 games before they won 1, right? And then we almost lost that because C.O. Moore was celebrating 20 yards downfield.
Remember that?
Against the Niners. Yeah, remember?
Oh. No, it was against the Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, I'm sorry. We beat the Niners that year too. But
yeah, 24-13.
Yeah. But yeah, that was yeah. It was like they were so freaked out that they were actually going to win a football game. No one knew what to do.
The only thing C.O. Moore was good for was the follow on Instagram. Quite the character. 3-13, Dennis Allen, Tony Sperano. Goodbye. 2015, Jack Del Rio.
Jack Del Huevos.
7-9.
Best coaching nickname ever. Jack Del Huevos, by the way.
7-9. Right off the bat, 7-9. No first year coach went 7-9. Hugh Jackson went 8-8. Yeah, you could say he was a little bit, I don't know. Hugh Jackson kind of goes down in lore. What could have happened with Hugh? Hugh freaking sold us out for Carson Palmer. So shut up, anybody who backs up Hugh, right?
Yeah, and you know what? And let's just touch on that real quick. Hugh made the biggest mistake that Hugh Jackson made was I'll never forget, and I've taken this with me outside of just fandom into the workplace. When you see people that are abruptly given control and the power hunger that overtakes them, I will never forget in that press conference of him saying, I'm going to go over every aspect of this team. I'm going to go over our roster. I'm going to go over the front office. I'm going to go over everything that we do, and I'm going to take more control over this football team going forward. And he kept saying everything he was going to do. In the meantime, the guy that shares the last name of the guy that just died is probably sitting across in the other office or in the back of that room going, oh, really? Are you now? Oh, okay. And the next thing you know, he was gone. If Hugh would have stayed in his own shoes and shut up and just focused on being the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, I don't think anybody argues that he's very talented when it comes to being a coach, when it comes to being a game planner, as a motivator, as a football mind. The dude's legit, but he got way, way out of line with the way that he was going to, quote, take control of this team. He should have just shut up. And you know what? He probably would have went on and done very well with the Raiders. And the Raiders probably would have done very well under him. But rest is history. And I'm glad that he's getting a chance now, especially with a team that's not really going to compete with the Raiders ever. And I wish him success. But I think that's what got him. That's definitely what got him. And you notice now, it's funny because now he's with Jimmy Haslam, who's kind of a control freak, kind of like Al Davis was. You know what I mean? So, same.
Rio comes in 7-9, glimmer of hope, glimmer of success. Carr, Cooper, Mack, they all start to kind of formulate a little bit. And now, 2016, after 13 years of losing seasons and only 2 with a 500 record, 11 losing seasons, 2 with the 500 record. We're at 4-1. I mean, give me a freaking break. Yeah, the defense needs work. Yeah, we're not blowing teams out. Yeah, we can't step on their throats and kill them. We're 4-1, period. That's it. I am so sick and tired of hearing fans who never even played sports, let alone played football, say, oh, they're not good wins. When you talk to any NFL player or any NFL coach, and what do they say, Josh? What do they say?
A win is a win. They are hard earned in the National Football League. Period.
Doesn't matter. In any sport, a win is a win. You look at any team who's ever won the Super Bowl, and you're going to tell me every one of their wins was a blowout win? No. The blowouts will come. We have to learn how to win. And these games teach you how to win. The fact that we're winning these games, I think, is way more impressive than winning blowout games. To be honest with you, I really do. Because you learn more from these games. You're under pressure. When Derek Carr takes the field, he has to lead the team down to score to win the game. He doesn't just, we're already up 20 points. We'll take it. He has to. And when you're playing under fire like that for multiple games, that's only going to make him more comfortable in the moment. The game will slow down in the moment. And eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed, one day he'll be like in the Super Bowl and say, hey, who's that over there in the seats? Is that, what's his face?
Is that John Candy?
Who was the guy Montana pointed out?
John Candy.
Yeah. Is that John Candy over there, you know?
Yeah.
And then he goes down and throws a winning touchdown pass to freaking John Taylor, right? So these games, this trial under fire is kind of what they're doing right now. You have to do it. There's that old mantra that building a program. You lose big, you lose, you lose a close one, you win a close one, you win big. We're in step 3 of that right now. We're winning close games. Now, the Charger game, the ball goes through the guy's hands. It's never one play. That was one of the last plays, but it's never that play, right? So we can't just say, oh, we barely beat the Chargers. We should have stopped them. No way, man. Chargers have been competitive for every game they've been in this year, right? I think Rivers called them the bad news Bears, dude.
Yeah.
When you have a quarterback that throws for 359 yards and 4 touchdowns on you, chances are that team's going to win the game. But we're finding ways to win. And I freaking love that about this team. And we're 4-1. We're 4-1. We're not 2-14. No, we're 4-1.
And we're not. And you know what? And we're not. And we're not dysfunctional. It feels like we're healthy. We're healthy. Like we have a good, healthy coaching staff. We have, despite what you think of Mark Davis, we have good, healthy ownership. We have good, healthy front office. Like, you know what I mean? Like these aren't people that are flying by the seat of their pants, and they're not controversial. Regardless of what you think about where they're going to play and that, quote, controversy, whatever. That's not the in-house stuff. That's not the on-the-field stuff. Because that stuff that dysfunction leads to L's. And instead, the health that we have leads to W's. I agree. And you know what? Something else that you mentioned, and I said early in the podcast about keeping him in check. You're right. By the numbers, by no means did we keep Phillip Rivers in check. When you throw for that amount of yardage, for that amount of touchdowns, it's not. I think that to me, though, I guess what I meant by that is it's an overall feel of the team. I didn't feel like he was like, oh, man, here comes Phillip. He's going to light us up. Oh, we got it. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like he had control. I felt like, you know what I mean? Like he was dominating our defense and something else, too. If Cooper has shorter feet, we might have blown him out.
Cooper has some big old toes.
He got some big old toes. Like think about it like that. So, you got this quarterback that puts up these great numbers, but yet you don't have the feeling like you got dominated. And then offensively, we really did a lot better than what we showed on paper and on the scoreboard. That when those little things start going our way, when Crabtree isn't trying to catch him with his face and uses his hands instead, all of a sudden, it is 40-point games. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I'm 100% on board. And you know what? And I'm glad that was kind of a fun little walk down memory lane there, even despite the, all the negativity of it. But let's really try to emphasize that. And I think we have already. Guys, where we came from, This is
4-1.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
This is beautiful. If you would roll the clock back to 2008, 2007, and 6 and 5, and all these years that we just went over, and you'd have told us that we could, that you could give us the season that we already had with a young. Think of this. Okay, think just this alone.
Yes.
If this right here, the point I'm getting ready to make alone, isn't enough for you, then turn in your Raider fan card right now. Okay, turn in Raider Nader card right now. We have a young, smart, gifted, good head on his shoulders, franchise quarterback. Let that sink in for a minute.
We have Andrew Walter?
That we drafted.
We have Matt Leinart?
This is not this is not Culpepper or
Russell?
Brooks or this is not a retread. This isn't even Rich Gannon. As good as Rich was, and I'm not knocking him, but he wasn't ours.
He's a retread.
He was a retread.
Oh.
What? And who was the quarterback before Rich Gannon? Crickets. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So we don't. We have this guy that every single team in the NFL, their number one priority is what, Sonny? From a personnel standpoint. What is it? No, their number one priority from a personnel standpoint on their team, on their roster.
Smart.
What is the number one thing that their priority is? Franchise quarterback. You got to have a quarterback and you got to have a pass rush. You got to start with a quarterback and then you got to get a pass rush. Guess what? We got one and we got two. You know what I mean? So now the rest of the stuff will fall in line. The fact that we have a franchise quarterback with a good coach and a great and an emerging pass rush, an emerging superstar, despite what the numbers say, dude, we are in such good shape. We're in amazing shape. This is great. This is early too. We're gonna watch these guys for 10 more years.
We can't step on their throat the third quarter.
No, listen.
Musgrave doesn't throw the ball, but we're not beating teams by 20.
Now look, I want to see it too, and I said it again at the beginning of the show, and I meant it. I want to see him too, because that's the next step, right? That killer instinct, that putting teams away, not letting them hang around. I'm with those people. I want to see it too, but your desire to see that, don't let that override the success. Don't let it override.
Let's not forget where we came from, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
Let's not forget where we came from in the recent years, right?
That's right.
To answer your question, BR before Rich. You ready for this?
Oh my God.
I don't even know who the hell this guy is.
Was it like Andrew Paulus or something or whatever Paulus?
No, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
I'll give you the third string and the second string first.
Okay.
Wade Wilson. Remember him?
Yeah.
Long-time Vikings guy, Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
39 years old. He was third on the depth chart.
I know. It was Jeff George.
Jeff George was second on the depth chart.
Before Rich?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man. 1998, because Rich played there for a while.
Yeah? I thought that was Jeff George. Well, Jeff George is who Gruden inherited. When Gruden took over, Jeff George. Donald Paulus. Hollis. Okay.
Hollis.
Okay, I said Paulus. That's Hollis. Yes.
Hollis.
I remember. I think is he the one that had braces?
I don't
I remember one of them had braces. I remember thinking, dude, you're a starting quarterback in the NFL and you're rocking braces. You couldn't wait to get that grill hooked up when you got done playing.
Yeah, here's his name, Donald Wayne Hollis. You ain't winning shit with Donald Wayne Hollis, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Give me a friggin' break, dude. Give me a break. Sorry for cussing on the show. Anyway, okay, all this said,
right.
We're 4-1. We're 4-1. Enjoy it. We play the Chiefs on Sunday. Do we win? Chiefs are coming off a bye.
We got them at home. They got
blown out
man.
by Pittsburgh, 43-14. They had a bye, which is good or bad. Think about it. Make changes. Who knows? They're coming to Oakland. They got some injuries. They're 2-2. You know, the most points they've scored all year is 33. We know we can score in the 30s. Their defense and offense are both bottom half of the league, so they're not anything great. This is another game We're 4-1. We should win this game. We have the 5th ranked offense in the league as far as scoring 28 points a game. We're giving up 27 a game. Chiefs are probably going to score in the 20s. Maybe they might get 30. But we should still win this game. If we lose this game, that's not good.
No, it's not. It's not the end of the world. I mean, but losing a
game, you should win.
We should win. And losing a divisional game at home is never a good thing, especially one that's probably going to contend for the division by the time that it's all said and done. I don't know what the stat is. I'm just speaking off the top of my head like we do a lot on this show.
We'll do best.
I'll bet that if you look at the stats and you look at the coaching career of Andy Reid, I'll bet you he's one of those kind of coaches that has like a 700 winning percentage coming off a bye week. Like, I'll bet you he's one of those kind of guys because he's a very, very good preparer. He's just, there's some guys that it's like you give them that extra week, they really know what to do with it, and they really know how to hone in on other teams' weaknesses and take advantage of it. I would be willing to bet that that's what Andy Reid's been doing, and I'll bet you he's had that success, and it wouldn't surprise me if coming off of that loss, that embarrassing loss on prime time against Pittsburgh, if they come out gunning for the Raiders. And listen, it wouldn't be the first time. The Kansas City Chiefs of recent history have had our number going back, to what was it? Was it last year in Oakland when they whipped us? But I mean, it's, so. And I don't know, and I'll be curious, and I'd like to look that up too to see what the recent history is on their matchups. But
I already got it. I already got it pulled
bring
up.
it. What is it?
15-2.
There you go. So that's where I'm like, should we? Yeah, are they down? Are we up? Yes. Is this a good time to strike? Yes. But I don't know. Like I feel like until they start winning those kinds of games, which I don't feel again we have yet, then it's hard to believe that they're going to. Are they capable of it? Sure, but I mean, so is anybody any week. So I don't know. I don't feel maybe as strong about it as I would certainly like to, but this is now this week, if they beat KC at home, now we're starting to lean towards signature win. Now we're starting to lean towards season-defining wins because now you're talking about your second win in the division. You're taking care of your business at home, which you should, and all those reasons that we just said, recent history against that team, Andy Reid's ability to prepare the team, their talent. Look, they still got Eric Berry and Justin Houston and, and Marcus Peters and all. They still got players on that football team. So if the Raiders can handle business, then yes, I think that's a big time win. I'm on the fence though. I'm totally on the fence, and I'll bet you the point spread says it too. I haven't seen the spread on it, but I'll bet you it's a 3-point game or less.
I just realized the NFL is screwing the Raiders again.
Always.
Hey, you want to know how this time?
How's that?
We play. This is a good year. We're 4-1. We're starting out great. We play Andy Reid coming off a bye. Then we go at Jacksonville, at Tampa. Already, the Raiders this year, not already, but the Raiders this year, it's been said.
Oh, yeah.
They will travel the most of any other team. And I think for the Jacksonville-Tampa game, they're staying over there. They're going to fly over there and stay there for that whole week. So we're going to be away from home for more than a week, come back, play the Broncos in a huge Sunday night game that we'll be at. Then they go for a bye week. Then they go down to freaking Mexico to play the Texans. And then our last game of the year is at the Broncos. This is interesting. This is a very interesting outside of the football norm, it seems like, for this young team. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it, how McKenzie, how Del Rio keeps the team in check, keeps their mind focused away from all the extra stuff. Kansas City is always a tough matchup. I think we beat them. I think the team is good enough. I think we beat them. I think this year is shaping up nice, barring any crazy unforeseen injury. Knock on wood. This is a playoff team, and I think we're playing like a playoff team. We're winning games that we should be winning, and to be all honest with you, we're a tip ball away from 5-0 against the Falcons. We really are.
A pretty darn good football team too.
I'm telling you, until somebody comes in and really beats the Raiders, we're winning games. We're winning games. We're winning close games. It's impressive. I love what I'm seeing. I say we beat the Chiefs. You say it's 50-50 on the fence?
Yeah, the point spread, the Raiders are giving up 7, which is surprising. I thought it would be less than that. So, I mean, if I were betting my mortgage, I would probably take the Chiefs and the points.
You're not a Raider fan no more.
I said if I had to bet my mortgage, if my family depended on it. I think the Raiders will win, but they haven't. How many games have they won by 7 this year?
The Raiders?
Yeah,
1 against the Titans.
All right, there you go. So what do you think? And the Titans are terrible compared to the Chiefs. So you think that they're gonna beat the Chiefs by more than a touchdown if they do? I don't think so. I think it's gonna be another close game.
You know what Jack Del Rio's favorite AC/DC song is?
What's that?
Big Balls. That's why we beat the Chiefs.
Jack Del Huevos.
All right, we are over an hour. We got to get going. I hope you guys enjoyed our trip down memory lane. The whole purpose. Look, I love Raider Nation. This is my extended family. I don't care where you're from, where you live, whatever. Raider Nation. But let's keep things in perspective. Let's not become spoiled fans. There's nothing worse than a fan who doesn't know their freaking history or sports, right? If you call yourself a fan, read up. Know your history. Know your stuff. We're 4-1, 2-14, 3-13, 4-12, 5-11. We're 4-1 after 5 weeks. Enjoy it. This doesn't happen very often for us. But hopefully, moving forward, it should with the young base. Again, we are the Degos. The show is called Raiders Riportare. Look us up on Twitter at the Degos, on iTunes and Libsyn.com under the Raiders Riportare or just the Degos. Murph, any last words?
The field is beautiful. Despite what the surroundings are around the field with the conditions of the stadium is terrible. But the field itself is gorgeous. Looks good on TV.
Nice with grass. Looks really nice with grass. All right, we are out. We'll see you next week when the Raiders are 5-1.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to take a stronger hand in this whole team, this whole organization. There ain't no way that I'm going to feel like I feel today a year from now. I promise you that. There's no question. Defensively, offensively, and special teams. I ain't feeling like this no more. This is a joke. I mean, to have a chance at home to beat a football team that is reeling after being beaten Detroit, who's one of your rivals, and they come in here and beat us like that, yeah, I'm going to take a hand in everything that goes on here.